everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today, on this day, I have the pleasure of sitting down with a gentleman by the name of Damion York. He is the founder, creator of a community-based investment fund called Sablelink, and I am looking forward to learning more about his work to get us to come together and put our change together. Anybody who does that, I am truly impressed. But first and foremost, as I always do, sir, I'll take a quick moment to pause, say thank you to you for making time for me today. Time is a gift. Once we give it, we can't get it back. So I truly appreciate you setting aside this time to talk to little old me. And with that, sir, welcome to the show.
I don't know about little old you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Anytime I get to talk about the cause or the movement or just talk to people who are out positive, trying to do something new in the community is a great opportunity. So thank you again for having me. And I look forward to learning more.
I'm looking forward to learning more about you. And that leads me into the first question because we Black folks can be a little difficult to navigate sometimes. So my first question would be, what makes you say one day, life isn't already stressful enough, but let me add some more stress and try to get us together.
Well, it's funny you say that because I didn't think about it as stressful when it first happened to me. When it hit me as an epiphany, it was kind of always something I kind of really wanted to do. I was turned on with business as a youngster from 1984, the lifestyles of rich and famous. And so I was kind of intrigued with that, obviously, right? The opulence, but then it went beyond that to the freedom that they had. And it was businessmen that kind of has sparked me. Growing up around business people, my uncle was a hustler, a legitimate hustler who made furniture and did things of that nature. So the entrepreneurial bug kind of always had kind of been inside of me. And my dad would always say, look, you'll never get where you want to get to working for somebody else for 40 years. And that kind of stuck with me too. And I always kind of wanted to do these different things and have different ideas and bringing people together, period, in a business sense. And so as I got older and able to focus in, and one day it just hit me, I was like, you know what? I went round and around what it is, trying to explain it in all these fancy words and all these things. And then when I boiled it back down to what it really is, it's an investment fund for underserved communities, particularly where Black and brown people are involved, and give us an opportunity. And so I didn't think about it as being a challenge as that part, but I have ran into that now. that has been the shock of my life. Actually, I never thought about that part of it because we've heard for so many years and had other teachers come along between King when his thing, the union, and Garvey, and even back, Garvey 100 years ago or whatever the case may be. And y'all talk about the same thing, coming together, pulling and we've seen what we can do as that, right? So I was inspired by there are other places that are doing these in different pockets where they're building, a little village here, if you will, or master acre the village, or master design over here. And I said, hey, you know what? This would be cool if we all kind of come together. But there were some things that I thought we were missing. Sometimes it was real estate, and sometimes it was what I found out as far as the investment people their main focus has been tech. But I think there's other avenues that we can get into that are more about the infrastructure of the everyday. I know tech is very important, but so is plumbing, so is electrical, so is construction companies, things of that nature as well. So I thought to myself, most of these investment groups, you have to be an accredited investor, right? Worth $1 million or make $250,000 a year. Okay. So that's, that eliminates a lot of people. And I wanted to make it where it was a situation where it could be affordable and it was a way where everybody could come together. And so I just kept pulling the idea together and I ran into some roadblocks. Well, what I mean by that is people like the idea, but then it's going to come along with the credibility. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? And, we're a big culture, but we've always been this way. We're influenced, and until I can get some more headway or whatever the case might be, I think that will be the issue. But I think there'll always be people who they want to go their own direction.
True.
And I think the one thing that I think that made appeal for this particular investment group is that it was more a community based. You can go do your own thing out there right now, which you get your own ETFs or John Hancock or whomever else that's out there, Charles Schwab, whomever else is offering. But there doesn't seem to be a community focus. And I wanted to make this a situation where I felt that we were lacking empowerment. You know, you
Oh,
read the
okay.
numbers, and we have great spending power, but we don't have an infrastructure set up, and we don't have anything to guide us on what we're going to do with this money. We always say, well, if we put our money together, we put our money together, and then what? And when we stop right there, you know, I haven't heard the next level of it, so to speak. So that was kind of what I thought would be a great appeal to a lot of people. I still think it has a lot of merit. I think people will be and want to be involved. I had nothing but great feedback. But you know, my first goal as a show to everybody, right, is to bring together 100,000 people. Originally, I wanted 1.2 million people, but now I say, okay, let's do 100,000 people, which is probably still high, but 100,000 people, and then that's just to sign up, right? Just to
Okay.
sign up to show that, hey, okay, there's 100,000 others of us who are interested in the same thing. And then from there, we'll talk about how we allocate the funds and that thing. But I think first, my thing is to get everybody to kind of sign up as one unit, and then we can talk about putting the funds in and the checks and balances and all those other things that are so important
Okay.
to businesses. So um, that's the only. It has been an interesting journey, but I like it, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
people just pat me on the back and they say, "Okay." And I know, you know, the more you read about leadership and look at those things, you find out that that's normal.
Yeah.
That people like to get on when you know the gravy train when it's already there. They
After
want
it's
to get the
already
low
up.
hanging fruit, right? So friends, family, and everybody else. So that's okay. I just continue to go out there and try to put together the right message, and hopefully run to the right people, and let it go from there.
Yeah. We as a community are very interesting. We always applaud and like Black Wall Street, we're always praising that. But when you turn to each other and say, hey, why don't we do this? We're like, oh,
Right,
oh.
right. Well, you know what's interesting too? I found out not only just black people, right? So there's two different things that I think is going on. It's a certain dichotomy that we don't really think about. It's black people here in America that and their system, and we all kind of huddle together, right? Thinking that the man, or so to speak, is against us, so we all have a common theme, so to speak. But
Hmm.
then within that, still is people who want to uplift one another, and you don't know that because you think you're fighting against the man, but once you get away from the man, there's still who wants to go out and do the heavy lifting, and who wants to build the pyramid brick by brick, who wants to do the work. And that still has nothing to do with skin. That has everything to do
Hmm.
with heart and content and character. uh,
True.
I tell people all the time there was a superior race one day, or back in the day, but it wasn't, and they were all black, but it wasn't based on black skin. It was
Mm-hmm.
based upon character and principles. That's
True.
why they wrote the laws of Mod, because it was all black people, but you still had to have what thou shalt not do and how we going to live in harmony.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part of it. You're right. Who wants to do the lifting? But I try to make it fun. Like, people who already do these certain things, it's all encompassing. So if you're already in real estate, then I'm going to need real estate help. If you're already in accounting, I'm going to need accounting help. I'm not asking
Okay.
people to do what they don't do. I'm asking people to come together and maximize instead of just doing it over here. Let's do it together. And as we can get together as a great team, then other people will see, hey, what's going on over there?
Bring your knowledge and skill set to the table. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess now at this point, what I need you to do is kind of unpack Sablelink for everybody
Okay.
so they have a full grasp of what it is.
Well, like I said, it's a community-based investment group that's designed and for underserved communities, particularly Black and Brown communities, to give us financial literacy, but economic empowerment and self-empowerment. I thought that was really critical because a lot of times we will get help from places, whether it's philanthropy or donations or whatever the case may be. But I also feel like we're stuck. We're at the mercy of whom is given the proceeds.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted us to know that we can do it ourselves. There's something to be said for doing things and accomplishing things. And I think that once we get in the mode of doing things and having some success, it builds up on itself. If the concept of living in the ghetto can be passed down, then so can work ethic and being able to strive to do things, letting your mind go and be more creative than what it is. And so, having said that, I figured it's important for us to like I said, it's designed for anybody, but to harness our resources. I was tired of depending on everybody, and I figured once we got there, I figured we get a bit more specific. And I broke it down into 4 areas. I think we should get our money, pull our money together and put our money into. One being business acquisitions. And that is companies that are already existing, that have been around for 15, 20 years, who have a staff, who are already established in the community, that people know and trust. As baby boomers and people retire or move on for whatever reason, here's an opportunity for us to buy it because the companies. It's kind of the same thing as Black Wall Street, right? As opposed to us going out and trying to start your own. And that's the place for this too. That's part of it, but we'll get to that in a second. But most businesses fail in the first 5 years anyhow.
True.
So why not buy something that everybody know and like, and see how you can improve it? The second area I think we should be involved in too is real estate. And that's kind of separate from the other one. And that's a big one too, right? So real estate, going and buying value add opportunities where we can either fix them up long-term or fix them up and flip them. And I'm talking about commercial buildings and things of that nature, golf courses, things on a larger level. And then also, I thought that this was critical too. We can go and take some of our money and put it and develop in underserved communities that we can control. We can build up our infrastructure in there. And ideally, I like to deal with what I call an agriculture complex kind of. And it's hard for me to describe, but it's a urban forest, not forest, but or urban garden. Think Wakanda type that can take up acres and have living there as well. A little bit of retail to be able to showcase other products and things of that nature. But it's more about improving those neighborhoods that are run down and put farming there, help out and start teaching other people about farming, and also having a place to live as well, so we can control. So a couple of things, we can have our own grocery store, so to speak. And I say the live garden farming because I like to have an open market style, but still be able to be enclosed, so you can walk around like you would be somewhere tropical, so to speak, or foreign, and so you can get the freshest things there. And still, like I said, have something new for the community. So that way, it's 2 things too. Black people don't have, as far as we know, we're growing there, although we still have less than what we had back in 1941. And we still get that. We did get the payout from, I think, Biden and those guys for $2 billion or some type of money. So that was good to get some part of that. But that means that we're still lacking, right? And farming doesn't sound all that great, especially if you got to go out hundreds of miles. But if it's kind of in your city, or whatever the case may be, you never know, right? So I think that would be one area also, and it helps for our distribution. We don't have any network of distribution. This will allow us to have distribution no matter what happens. We don't have to rely upon Target or whoever else. We can distribute our own products. And then I think the third area needs to be innovation. And as we talked about new businesses as well, but I'm thinking about having a research lab. I'd like to have I at the beginning, ideally, I like to deal with probably HBCUs and put out a call to other inventors of that nature, or whatever the case may be, who are out there inventing things and working on things that we're not even thinking about right now, right? What you call them nerds, so to speak, right? And get those things, because you can never tell what the next thing is going to be. And this Sablelink is different than a lot of the other investment groups, because it's not about trying to get involved with stock market. As a matter of fact, we're trying to stay away from the stock market because we feel like the stock market at times take advantage of underserved communities. And so we'd rather be involved instead of just numbers, so to speak, shares. We'd rather buy companies that are like I said, mom and pops, energy companies that are around, your local plumbers, or whatever the case may be. And then I think the fourth area, which I think will be critical also, is we get to control these things too, is what I would consider financial services, but I would say private lending, and where we can lend on equipment and furniture and things on regular that you lend on right now today, but you don't have to do it at a 15, 18, 20% interest rate. If everything checks out in the regular underwriting, but instead of it being 12%, we'll keep it down to 6 or 7%. We control our own interest rate. We're doing our own banking. That's why I mentioned earlier about banking. Once we get into banking, there's certain things that you have to do, the protocol. But when we get into our private lending, then we can set our own interest rate and be able to help the people who are out there trying to make a difference, whether business-wise or need furniture or whatever the case may be. And it's also the same thing with establishing our own, building our own agriplex. We get to control our rent. And we get to determine our rate. Because a lot of the time what happens is, I think, is there's a dog chasing his tail, right? So we got an investment plan and you get in the money manager and they put it in the 401 or IRA. Well, their job is to make more money. So they go on the backside and they squeeze what they can through automation and everything else. And you say, and you're in the middle watching, like, look at these terrible companies. The man is laying off all these people. The man is laying off, but the man is laying off those people. So you, well, they greedy too, right? But part of the justification is also so you can get your 8 to 10 to 12%. So you hand it to your investment guy. He does the dirty work. The man does the dirty work and squeezes everybody. So it's this circle of us and always trying to get that extra 8 to 12%. Well, maybe we get it to 6% and we just control it there. And it's beating inflation, and it's not the greatest thing, but it's sustainable and it makes it livable for everybody. And you know, we can control our products and everything else. And so that's kind of what the crux of Sablelink was about, being able to establish ourselves in diverse ways, in different industries, different sectors. Like I got an idea. I think, you know, I know there's a lot of, I think we should be doing hemp. I think we should be messing with Haiti, and we should have all of Haiti growing hemp. You know, hemp comes back and it reinvigorates the soil, and we can turn that into a whole bunch of different things. And so I understand that hemp, I don't know if this is, I know this is true. I don't know how this will work for you, but I'll ask you this as a lady. I understand that hair products are huge in the Black African American community, excuse me. And I'm thinking about, what if we took hemp, turned it into plastic, then turned it into wigs? Then you can take the wigs, and obviously hemp, like anything else, I think the problem with hemp plastic is it disintegrates, right? It's biodegradable, which is a great thing. But then you know what? You have a wig subscription. So you get wigs, 2 wigs every month or whatever the case may be. So you get the newest hemp wig that's out, and we get to keep that money in our community. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about. There's different ways that we can do different things, innovation. Like, why isn't there, if there's so many different things that are synthetic, how come there's no synthetic gas? The molecules and the molecular structure for gasoline is on the internet. So how come everybody's made up anything else that's chemical, that's flammable, but that's not too volatile, that you can put into the engine? There's ways, I think there's innovation, there's things that are out there that we can take advantage of, and just continue to build our community. And when I say that's the immediate, right? Which then once we get to the bigger level, when we get to 1 million people or something like that, because just imagine Robin Hood and Acorn had 12 million, 14 million people. We can get to something like that. Then we can start doing things like infrastructure. We can put in these big, huge government contracts. Another thing also, when we go buy these companies that are already out there existing, we can also buy their knowledge and the work capital and the materials that we need to qualify for these government contracts too. And it'll be Black owned now. So there's other ways we can educate our people. We can tell who's going to be hired on these jobs. Ideally, we'd like to take a little bit of the money also and put it away for training, and things of that nature. So it'd be all encompassing, where it's about uplifting communities that have been neglected, and more than that, just to have a sense of empowerment. You know, you get tired of begging.
Ain't that the truth?
And you know,
ain't that the truth?
And let's do it. If we got it there, let's figure out how we can get it to the next level.
So let me play devil's advocate here. What are some of the pushback? What are some of the conversations that you're having where people are like, no, we don't, what?
Well, I tell you, I think well, how do I say this? I've had 2 people, one of them, and I went to people who have minority, Black, who had what I call stinking ink, which means they were written up by various, I think one of them was written up, not on BET, but I think Forbes, under 40 doing this or something. And it was a lady. And she told me, first of all, I kind of gave her the pitch about how we can get together and you know, use your credibility and how we can all just move together and need to put together a team or whatever. And at first she wanted to have the interview, have a meeting. And then right before the meeting, she hit me back and she said, well, I only take meetings if I can get clients. And I said to myself, well, wait a second. I'm trying to give you a whole bunch of clients. You know, we're out here looking for ways to get involved. But that was one of it. So I'll piggyback on that. A guy told me, you're better off getting a few people to invest, a few rich people to invest, as opposed to trying to get so many people. So I think the biggest thing has been the size, the sheer size of it.
Mm-hmm.
But in my thought process on that is this: it's for the people. It's not for a few people at the top to get rich off the
Mm-hmm.
people. It's an investment fund for the people. So the people need to
Mm.
be involved in it. I might
Gotcha.
need some backing and things of that nature for marketing, but ideally, I'd like to be able to get to the point where I can get to deal with the churches and have a grassroots. I reached out
Right.
to churches too, so they haven't reached out back to me. I think that the biggest thing has been, as far as that has been a situation where I haven't had enough to offer them. I hate to say it like that, but
Mm-hmm.
um, it, I think that's been the biggest thing, because it's like, look, if you go to church, which is a great thing. I grew up in the church and whatnot, and it has this merit, and you able to do, and the church asks you to go build and do these things. Well, how come we're not asking to grow to do these things over here that are vital? If we're raising all this money, what are we raising it for?
True.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So that part, and I think that's been really the biggest thing in trying to get the word out. Um, I would say that that's been my only real big pushback. I think that people, they think about it, they say, yeah, it's great, but then, like you say, they kind of like, oh yeah, that's never going to work. You know how black people do. We're not ever going to get together. So it's
It's
just
hard to get
weird.
us together for the cookout.
Right, right. So I think a lot of the time that's kind of maybe it's like life and period in America, the hypocrisy, right? It's like it's supposed to be great for everybody. It's supposed to be great and free, but you didn't count. You don't count. You're not a man, or you're not a black man, or you're a white man, or you're a woman, or whatever. So it's this idea with black people saying the same thing. Man, we can really do some things if we get we're the top 10 in economically in the world. If we just come, and then it's been, well, I don't know, and that's why I tried to make it so. I tried to make it really affordable too, right? So it's only $1,500. It's a year.
Is that, oh, a year? Okay.
Yeah, a whole year. So it's $125, right? So I don't know everybody's pockets. I know the average. They just came up with the numbers not so long ago. The average black income, family income, I think went from 28,000 to 44,000, which is, I was shocked that it was that low, but it is
Yeah.
what it is, right? So, and even that part of $1,500, that's less than 5%, and that's of your yearly or annual salary, right? And I said, well, that still can be tough. I don't know what people got, and that's, in other words, I'm throwing out a pre-tax, right? So let's get real. So I said, on top of that, I made it where it can be a situation where if you, your sister, you can have up to 5 other people coming together under one account. So then that way it makes it even
Wow.
more affordable. The more people can come and get involved in it and share on it. So only $25, I think, or whatever a month. And then I said, let's go one other step. So one thing I like to do also would be, I know, like I say, how hard it is too to put the money. I think the other part of it, what money am I going to put aside? I'm taking my money. I'm going out to the concert. I'm going to get some new shoes. I got to get my cigarettes. What's wrong with you? And I get it. Those are bad. Not gonna say bad habits, but those are just habits that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Scarcity and so forth and so on. But I think that another way I wanted to do this, and it's still a work in progress. It's up on the website now, but it's still a work in progress. Is I wanted to make it a situation where not only where you can put money aside, but when you bought things, normal things that you would buy, part of that profit, matter of fact, half the profit will go into your investment account. And so it's like you go on and buying whatever on Amazon, Comet,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, a pair of shoes or whatever you like, Gatorade, whatever that is. If that profit is $5, then 250 is going to go into your investment account, no matter what it is you're buying. I'd also like to buy. So we talked about buying companies, right? So I'd like to do and be able to provide mobile services, and I think it's called mobile MV. Basically, it's white private label where the big three will either take care of your networking, AT&T, Verizon, or AT&T, Verizon,
Or
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. Okay.
Those three, right? You can get on it. You can be on their satellite system or whatever the case may be. You just have to have your front end set up. So ideally, what I like to have is people, you switch over to Sablelink Air, and it's ran by Verizon's network, and $30 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and say the profit is $24. I think they take 20%. And say I got to pay this. So say the profit is $10 at the end. $5 of your bill every month is going to go into your investment account. And I
Mm.
also like I said, and that would be no matter what it is. So if it be your cellular service, it'd be your data. I like to have it, like I said, no matter what you buy, um, part of that money that you spend that goes to the retail. Part of that is going to go to, so retail, I guess my aim would be retail would take, I take a little less, but they would go into your investment account. That way, no matter what, your investment account can grow just on your normal everyday day-to-day stuff. I also like to have them. Part of that would be, so there's another option I wanted to have more people, also be able to, whatever you purchase goes into there. And then the third part of it was to make it more affordable would be a situation where like Chime or Acorn, where you can round up.
Okay,
You can round up. So whatever you bought, if you weren't on the website buying stuff or whatever, you was out having lunch or whatever the case may be, you round that up. Half of your change goes into the investment account. The other part goes into your savings account. So it's all these different ways, no matter how you're spending money, some of it's going into your investment account. So then that way it can help offset maybe that $125 a month or maybe whatever that is to your investment fund. So you basically funding yourself. That was how I'd like to have it set up eventually.
so there's
But
no excuse. There's no excuse at all.
it wouldn't be when I get it right. That the other part being done like that takes a little bit of, it takes a lot of, I had to have a warehouse, right? To be able to, because I've talked to, you can get some things drop shipped, but I don't think the things that are going to be used on a consistent basis, the consumables, toothpaste and stuff like that, you have to buy those, and I'd have to warehouse it and all of that. But, as it grows and gets bigger, yeah, that'd be ideal. I mean, I know that, what's the name of that company? Rakuten or whatever the case may be.
Oh, Rakuten. Oh,
Rakuten, yeah, they have a situation where wherever they spend, they buy, some of your money goes back to you, right? So I'm trying to figure out how that works out. And that doesn't have anything to do with your whatever you get for your Discover card. So you still get your whatever that is, and then you still get, but instead of me giving you that 15% back, 7.5% goes back, 7.5% goes into the investment fund. So I know it can be done because people are out there doing it, but that's a multi-billion-dollar company, so I'm not quite there yet.
Look, Marcus Garvey was standing on the street in New York holding up these pieces of paper, and people were buying them. So, I mean, we will do it. I mean, we will do it. I guess it's the light bulb has to click on. The light bulb.
Right. And, I got to keep on with it. I went on, I called Al Sharpton's show and try. I'm going to call back again, too, to let them know, hey, look, this is what we can do, and I'm looking for feedback. It's not about, this is egoless. I guess if anything, if you want to talk about an ego, my ego is big enough to think that I can do something like that, right? When I check myself, I was like, this is crazy. But I said, it's only about everybody coming together. I had people that I've already interviewed, research people who wanted to do it, underwriters who want to do it, people who have business development skills. I think that all these businesses, no matter they provide a product or service, they all have a certain format that they have to go through, even though they're individual and they have their own different specialties or whatever. You still have your end product. You still have to have a customer. You still have to have your clients. You still have to make sure your work environment is right. You still have to make sure that people are involved and feel connected into your work. You still have, that's the basic foundation, I think, for all these companies, that no matter which ones we desire to acquire or even to build, and how I want the company to feel. I want people to be involved and have say what's going on and to feel like they are a part of it. They are it. This is just a situation where, everything needs a blueprint and somebody to kind of get it off the ground. And that's kind of all my role really is, and to find the right people, to get the right environment and get the right people to do the thing. And then after that, because truth be told, you want something that's going to last longer than you. Yes. Zenith TV went out because he did everything. So when he died, that was it. And it was the same thing with Walt Disney too. They got lucky in the early 80s, but they were getting ready to fold too because he was such a hands-on and he didn't let this. And so when one person goes, that person who's in control, the whole thing will go. And the key is that I want this to be something that's bigger that people just feel comfortable with. Like you can say the YMCA, or you can say United Way, and you can say Sablelink, because that means something where people can get together and advance themselves.
Okay. All right. So listening to you say this is really about the community and the members coming together, do the people in the investment fund have the opportunity to recommend like a business to invest in, or do they have say so in the investments?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Not at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There will be certain sectors that we'll put out in agriculture, energy, and things of that nature. And sure, if somebody knows what's going on in their particular neighborhood or whatever, they think something is that might be viable, then for sure we'll take a look at it or something in that
Mm-hmm.
case that something like that arises. But not at the beginning. But what I would like to have, see, so you got further ahead, right? How I see even further ahead than that would be not only the infrastructure, it would be so each year I would think that it would be between 15 to 20 different companies that we will invest in at the very minimum that you will have in your portfolio. As time goes along, that's 1 year. So each year you get, so at the 5 years, you might have 100 different companies. Now, throughout all different sectors.
Mm.
Now, you may want to trade or sell your share, if you will, to
Mm.
your friend George or Karen or whomever
Mm.
else because you want to be all in the medical field or you want to be all in the construction
Gotcha.
field. You can trade it or sell it or whatever the case may be. That would be a situation where you kind of could dictate where want to align
Okay.
at and things of that nature. And then, it's a good question because I think maybe I'll put on there because we're going to have several different like agriculture, energy, construction. I think I call them utilities. What else can I think of? Right? Manufacturing, logistics, distribution. All these different areas are areas that we're going to be looking to tech that we're going to be looking to get into. And so if you have a box, if you prefer one or the other, then as it grows, we'll maybe be able to do some things and move it around for you. But ideally, that'll be later on. Also, it will be a situation where at the beginning, 100,000, we just wherever we're picking them at, and we'll be the top 30 MSAs, metro statistical areas, uh, with the heavy emphasis on where the Black people are. Uh, Within reason, because you can't take them out, you can't go out in the middle of the desert and try to still make money, right? It has to be close to where
Mm-hmm.
the commerce is around. But so to take the money from there, that was where we wanted to have it at. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, but
Mm-mm.
it'll come to me again.
No, I mean, just listen to you talk. I'm like, does the brain turn off? Do you sleep at night? It's just a
I've been working on this for a while because I see it out there. I see it as viable because I see it the big huge thing and everything that's huge. You got to start at the bottom. And reverse engineer. Okay, this is great up here, but how is it going to affect down here? The other person who's involved. How can I make it more reasonable? What can I take away all excuses and then it just makes it easy for people. So, and like I said, I see people. I think a lot of our attitudes are we lack self confidence, and we've gotten so much into what feels good and what makes us happy. But what I found, happiness usually doesn't equal progress. A lot of
Mm,
times, so people say I went to work and I'm going to be happy my free time. Well, I understand you were just doing something to pay your bills over here if you weren't fulfilled with that job, but so that's not going to move you anywhere. And so
mm-mm.
there needs to be a balance. There just needs to be a way where we can come together. And I think that if we just keep beating the drum, like I said, Garvey has 6 million people. So I said, man, I don't know how he
Yes.
did it, but he also, what else he did too, though. I know this part to be true. He's also successful, and so I know that part it lies in it too. People want to see where the money comes from,
Mm-hmm.
and how is it going to affect them. But that's why I always stress to them: look, no matter how much money I have or you have, this is about the community. This is about how I made my money. Ain't got nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different thing, right? This is a
Yeah.
different entity right here. This is I made the money so this can be part of something that we can all build together. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I try to get people to feel like they're involved in it, as opposed to what are you gonna do for me?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get upset. I know the politics and things of that nature. We're old in our system. The systems owe us. But at the same time, I always ask people, well, what are you going to do? What are you doing to help the community? You saying
Mm-hmm.
these things aren't right, then what are you doing? What is
Yeah.
your actual, are you marching? Are you petitioning? Are you going down to the food bank? Are you going and cleaning up? Because if you're not doing
You're
anything,
just bumping your gums.
right, and I'm tired of hearing it. I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to. You all you doing is gossiping. It's the equivalent
Mm-hmm.
of gossiping. You
Mm-hmm.
know, oh, they ain't no good. That's terrible. Well, what you gonna do then? If you know it ain't no good, then what you gonna do?
Roll up your sleeves. And you mentioned a couple of things that, I'm kind of at a crossroads in my life personally. When you think back to like Marcus Garvey and us as a community back then, we were more communal in mindset. I think
Mm-hmm.
today we're more individualistic, and consumerism has kind of really impacted us. So we're really not hardwired today in 2024 to kind of bring our money together. And I think it's really damaging us as a community. And that's why I see, listen to you talk, I see the advantage of Sablelink, but it's how to get that switch to click back on
When
for
you
us.
you're right, 100%. And I think that this part too. I think I ask people though sometimes, okay, you gonna get yours. You got yours. So what's that mean now?
We got
Okay, so your
kids, we
kids
got
get to go better.
grandkids.
Right. And your family lineage can do it good too. So then what does that mean for everybody else? You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times we want to be thought highly regarded of, right? And so that's part of my plea to them is like, look, man, this is how you become highly thought of when you help other people. It's not necessarily about you. Everybody who has been wealthy, unless they stole it or was born into it, help somebody. Whether they
Mm-hmm.
provided earphones, eyeglasses, computers, food, you provide a service to help people,
Mm-hmm.
and then they will gladly come to you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that the people need to understand that once we come together and say, well, this is how you pay it forward. This is how you create something that can be even bigger. Like we can also get together and talk about, we're talking about financial literacy, right? They can put together and have a trust, family trust,
Awesome.
where everybody, when somebody dies in the family, the money goes back into the trust. So the trust pot gets bigger and bigger. But when it's your turn to use it to go open your own business or do something, go to school or whatever, we can self-fund these things. And so there's
Awesome.
other ways that we can establish them. But they don't understand it. I keep asking them, you got yours, but how well is that doing for everybody? It's not doing anybody, it's not doing as any good as a group. You want
Mm-hmm.
somebody to take pictures of you and high five you, and that's great. I see, I'm happy for you. You worked hard. I understand that part of it. But that doesn't really do anything for me, um,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not mine. I ain't
Yeah.
spending it. I ain't using it. I'm not hating on you, but I'm just trying to figure out, if
How is
we're
it
there
benefiting the
now,
community?
what are we going to do next? Right. Because you got it
Mm.
now. So now it's about having a good time and doing something else with it, right? I always say, when we're going to leave here one day, and I want to have my name somewhere on some building beside. I want it on
Thank
just no
you.
tombstone. I'm trying to do some things to help some people.
That's right. What
So
did
that's
this
my
time
motivation.
count for? What did this time count for? And a lot of
Right.
people don't really, take that into consideration. I know we need to have a good time. I know we need to enjoy life, but when you close your eyes, like, what were you here for?
Right, right. And that you keep saying, I had fun. I had fun. I'm like, that's all you did was you just have fun. If you look at it, fun is just you, you know?
Your great grandkids are not gonna say, well, my great grandfather was known for having fun.
Right, right, right. I think they had a song, Papa Rose and Rolling Stone, or something about that, right? Having too much fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I think that part of it too. We're so busy trying to make a name for ourselves that we don't understand that money is not the name. Money's
Mm-hmm.
the tool. Freedom is what I'm talking
Money
about.
is the tool. Freedom. There you go. There you go.
That's
I
what
like.
it is. And
There
if you
you
can
go.
help people, that makes it even better. I've always thought the more people you help, the more they'll come to. It's just a reciprocal,
That's what we're here for.
right,
That's as human beings, that's what we're here for, to help and serve, each other. So I mean, we lost that somewhere along the way. So let me ask you this, and I don't know if you've packaged it. I mean, moving forward, the next steps, what do you need?
Well, I think the next thing I'm doing is I'm gonna retouch up the website and take care of some things on there, and get those things cleared up. Outside of that, I got to continue to drive the numbers and get people to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. I think
Okay.
once in my mind, that's the biggest thing is to get the show the herd that we can come together. First of all, we can't, so we can come together. We won't talk about the putting our resources in. We would just say, can we come together first? So
Mm-hmm.
that's my biggest thing is to try to get the numbers, to get people just to sign up. Just sign up. And then once we get to that level, then I'll send out the next step of what we can do. And if it's a good time for you, then it is. That's great. If it ain't, then it ain't. Then but at least we can show some solidarity and show that, hey, we can get to here. I've been trying to reach out, like I said, to Jackson to figure out how he did the Million Man, and different people who pull people together. So that's been my biggest thing. My next goal is to get people together, because once I do that part, it's like juggling. Once I get that part, I'll be able to go. I'll be juggling 3 balls. I'll get the people, then I'll get the team together. And the team was easy to find. You'd be surprised. But people want to be involved in stuff like this. And they got plenty of skill set and all of that. And then the third thing is, I think I will need some help as far as getting the word out, meaning that I want to get into the churches. I want to get into where it can have some real depth. I don't want it to just be ads that's just flying over in the next fad. I want it to be woven into the church and into the backbone of the communities, so that way it can grow from there and have its own organic feel to it. So I guess probably getting close in contact with the churches some more, trying to convince them what's in it for them. I will say that I'll be 100% transparent also. So it's $50 fee, $50 membership. And what I was thinking about offering them was, man, you get half. For everybody you get sign up, you get half. And it's $50 every year, you get half. We just trying to get, because that $50 fee is to take care of payroll and all those different things. Because Sablelink doesn't take any money like that. Okay. We don't have any fees like that.
Okay.
It's just a membership, and then that's it. We do take 5% of all the companies, but we don't take any fees. So it's just the $50 for the sign up, which would include, like I said, ideally when I get you can go shopping on there too, but it's just $50. And so I was trying to get them involved to say, hey man, if you're trying to get some money, here's $25. So I don't know. I've been trying to figure out how to continue to market towards the church. I know a lot of people come along and they say, well, and I just seen something the other day, they said, oh, the guy came along to the church and he took the church for $1.3 million. And, so I understand people are hesitant and people always come along what they can do. And I hate when they say community-based, but that's why I try to keep it low and say, look, another thing. So to show that it can be trustworthy and credible, part of the portfolio that you have will also have all the businesses, all the contacts, why we picked it, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. And also, it will also have on there who was involved in escrow, the banks, and everybody you can contact. So you can see all the information, all the numbers. And then also, as a membership, you can be able to type in, and you'll be able to see the exact amount of money. You get your own passcode, and you'll be able to see the exact amount of money in the bank.
Full transparency.
This is everything. You can see all of it. Full transparency at any point in time. Why we did it, where it's at, what our plans are, and what's left. And you can call bank manager so-and-so and such in Virginia, D.C., wherever it is, South Carolina, wherever it is. We want everybody to know that this is not the dog and pony show. Ain't nobody trying to get rich on your backs like that. This is about actually doing some things. I think the 1.2, and forgive me, and I had it at $1,800. It was like $2 billion a year, which is no money, but that's some decent money, right? And I'm like, okay, we got $2 billion to play with. We can start buying up some business. We can start really doing some things, right? So I scaled it down to 100,000 or whatever, but that's to let everybody know still, that's where, so you can see where the money's going. You can know exactly. You can call everybody. It won't be this, I didn't know who was doing this, and you won't see me on American Greed or nothing like that. I ain't going to jail for nobody. Don't worry about that. Won't be me.
Won't be me, huh? Okay.
Plus, my name is worth too much. Your name, you go down like that. These people have all this money and all this fame.
We're seeing that currently, yes.
Right. And like, why did you go this next step with it? Now, not only is it your name no good for you,
your
but
children,
now you got family members and everybody ducking and having to change their last name. And the Madoff brother killed himself, son killed himself because he couldn't deal with what you doing, man. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah. You want your name to live on. Imhotep, I don't know how much money you have, but I know Imhotep's name has been around for thousands and thousands of years.
Thousands of years. People still talk about him.
And and he still gets his props.
And after we're gone, they're going to still talk about him.
Right. I'm trying to be in a pantheon with him. But I may not get there, but I would at least try to get there. I can get outside the building, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing how some of us are born with the I'm here for something bigger, and others of us are just I'm just living for me and in the now. I've always wondered how we get hardwired differently, but it's nice to run across people who are here for it more than just themselves. So,
Right,
well,
right.
I'm impressed. I pray for you because it just that's a whole bunch. I mean, even if it was black, white, green, or blue people, just getting people on accord when it comes to their dollars. And
Right.
especially, everybody today, I just spent $6 on eggs at the grocery store. You want me to give you what?
Right, right. Amen.
So I mean, anybody looking at this, just a quick glance can see that this is no easy feat, but I see the commitment and whew,
It's fun though.
fun.
It's fun because I see.
Planning a family reunion give me a headache. I don't see how you can say this is fun.
Well, I hear you there. You're right. You're right. But at least the infrastructure, at least the blueprinting of it, at least all those nights and headaches of putting together policies and all types of. I mean, I got policies and standard operating procedures and all types of stuff
You're legit. Okay.
together as a blueprint to at least begin right and really get it rolling. That part has been trying, but it's also been fun because I see the opportunity. I know that there's people out there that are enthusiastic and looking to do something different. And I know that pushed in the right direction, and once it gets up and rolling, that anything is possible. That's why I was hesitant before when I was talking about investors, because then you're tied to them, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really,
You want it
you
to
know.
really be community based. It's about,
Mm-hmm.
me and my next door neighbors, we're working this, So
Right.
okay, I understand the concept. I understand. Well, you know, how much so we should be looking for like a year and check back and circle up and see everything?
Yeah, hopefully sooner than that. Sablelink will continue to do things business oriented to help grow, and continue that part of it as the membership grows as well. So that's kind of what I got going on. Working on a tour,
Okay.
Seattle,
Okay.
and things of that nature. I'm also working on a lottery game. Uh, yeah. So check this out. Tell me, and this is the coolest part. Now, are you hip to the video games? The John Madden and the EA, so kind of okay. Well, the
Last
graphics.
last video games I played was Gallagher at the arcade. So
I ain't mad at that. I like that one too. But anyhow, I just wanted to do. I know there are 7 states that allow online uh, online lotteries, online gambling, and the lotteries are ran by the state. I tried to get around that. They were like, no way. Even if you go to a nonprofit, like you're a nonprofit, right? If I wanted to do one, you can do a lottery and no problem, right? But you have to do it and coordinate it. What I was going to do was we were going to partner up and then we were going to do the lottery. You were going to get 25%. I was going to get 25%. And the people get 50. But they were like, no, 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 no. So anyhow, there's 7 states that do it. And what I wanted to have and what I looked at on the lotteries are no different than the tickets that you would buy, but they're just tickets on your phone. And I'm like, well, that's kind of just, that's whatever. That's not really, or the ball just comes up. I'm like, this isn't really fresh as a lottery to me. I want to do one more sports theme oriented. And I'll try to go fast and make it before it's not too difficult. It'll be a situation where the computer picks whoever's going to win, and that's no matter what, right? The lottery. But the reality is, it looks like you're playing basketball. It looks like too. So what I have in situation was so the basketball arena holds 20,000 people, split in 4 sections. That's 5,000 each place. You pick your seats, right? So what would happen would be the balls would be bouncing around and the lights will be twirling and then they'll pick row 7, seat such and such, and then you'll get some money and right? And then it'll be 13 times. And then the last two, the 2 seats will jump up and then they turn into people. And then these people look like they're playing basketball, but this is just all show because the computer picks who wins, but it gives you the show like and then you get dunked on or you block it and
Yeah,
your
okay.
hat blows up and I won. And and you get your money. And I was like, you know what? Now that looks like a little bit better, more interactive lottery to me. And I wanted to get 10%. So I'm working on that too. That part seems more, you know, you got to get it, but it's doable. I thought it was more doable than I thought.
Every time and then you run into people and you just get inside their brain and you're like, whoa, what is going on in here? It's a party in here. Okay. You are one of them people.
Hey, you know, I see the world a little differently sometimes.
Yes, I will say that. Okay. But it's all good. It's all good. You know, all righty. Must be that Seattle thing. I don't know.
That's it. Right.
Interesting folks in Seattle also.
Yeah, all the rain up here.
All right. Well, sir, I'm gonna ask you my random question, and then I'm gonna ask you to let us know how we connect with you. So if anybody wants to come on board and assist in the forward movement.
Great. Random question. Okay.
Let's see what we got here. If you could have an all expenses paid trip, where would you go?
Where would I go? You know, I'm torn between two, but I would probably say I'm going to go to Egypt. I'm going to go
see your man, right?
I got to go see the Sphinx. I got to go to Luxor. I got to go look at the stuff to see the magnificence and at least some of it, you know. I've been studying Black antiquity for about 25 years now, and it's amazing. Some of the things that we've done, and I want to see that.
They can't explain. They can't even explain.
They can't explain it. They can't do it. Dogman, which are now Mali or whatever, they had the stars. They were like, we can't even see these with telescope. They knew about them 2,000 years before that, and just all types of things that we've done, surgeries and all different types of things. You know, it's amazing. I want them to do a trilogy as far as a movie is concerned. So they got Mansa Musa. That's him, but his father,
richest black man.
And yeah, but then his father left and came to America. Is one of the movies I would do him, and then I would do the third one. The third one would be there's parts of the Grand Canyon they don't let you in, and it was supposedly they found some African or some Negro artifacts back in the early 1920s. Yeah, and they shut it down.
Okay.
Right, yeah, Google that Grand Canyon. There's parts that's off limits. And I'm like, huh. Yeah, that would shock the world. They wouldn't want to see Negroes have been there. Well, you know that we've been here before. We
were exploring before the Christopher Columbus came. So
they also heard or read or seen something that said white people ain't been around but 6,000 years. So as far as the mutation of the gene and all this other stuff,
it takes to but they don't want to admit that. So
no, you know, Negroes been around 400,000 million years or so. You know, all types of stuff, right? And so they try to downplay the wall of Benin. I was like, man, the wall is just mud. I'm like, you name me some mud that you could put up. I just wraps around you. I was like, man, I don't want to hear that. You always going to downplay something we doing.
And we go for the okie doke.
Right.
All the time.
They repackage it and sell it to us.
Anyways. All righty. So tell us how we connect with you. If we want to see about investments, seeing how we can help you, just watch you grow and everything. Just tell us how we connect with you.
Oh, great. Well, you can go to Sablelink.com. I'm also on Facebook. Bear with me. I'm working on my social media, people, so I'm trying to keep up on that. But Sablelink.com will have all the information you need on there. Feel free to leave any type of comments. Tell me how I can get better. I'm looking for criticism. I'm looking for people who want to be involved. Got any type of ideas on how to even put together a rollover or a roundup system? I looked into that, but they said I couldn't do it. It had to be nonprofit to get that. So anybody who's interested in is trying to help me or want to be involved in something like this, who has ideas. I love thinkers and people who are brilliant and who are focused and committed. And so Sablelink.com is how you can reach me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you just for wanting to bring this to the world, to bring this to fruition. I mean, because you're dealing with people.
I know.
You're dealing with people. It would be different if Damion was just dealing with Damion, but you're dealing with people. So just that alone right there. You ain't got no hair there, so I can't say what.
Hey, they took it off a long time ago.
I wish you the best. It's just a wonderful, amazing idea, concept, and it could do some wonderful stuff, have some impact, not only, I mean, for us now, but some generations down the line.
Yes.
So I mean, people just need to see and do and act, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
wish the best. I wish the
Well,
best.
thank you so much, Lana. Thank you for having me. This has been fun, really informative, and it's been great. I thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I'm your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time. Oh.